going to use a mop, holds a lot of water. I'm going to stand up to do this. That's how you know I'm serious. Maybe I'll start up here at the top and let gravity move things down. There are a few things I want to paint around right here. And I'm going to get more water. So here I'm being a little more careful because I want to preserve the chartreusey green on the bud. But I'm just going right out here and fading this pink out. Now here, this is a little hard edge here where it was dry. And I'm going to leave that because that kind of suggests another petal coming in from the upper corner. This is very white. I'm going to leave that. So I don't have to worry about the greens because they're going to be darker than this pink. All right, so now I'm going into my main flower. And I'm just going to go over the whole thing with a dilute pink. I'm not going to worry about hard edges just yet. Now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush or one that doesn't hold quite so much water. This is a synthetic. Just going to put a little of the darker color down here while this is wet. But I'm going to wait till this is dry before I put in the most dramatic dark pink. Use a number 10, silver black velvet. And I'm going to go right in and do this hard edge because this is the most important edge right there. I'm going to wet out here. This is not at the very edge of the flower. It's at the edge of the center of the flower. And now I'm going to get really strong color on the tip of my brush. And I will turn it around. So it's upside down now. I'll turn my reference upside down. And I'm laying the tip of the brush down where I want the strongest contrast. So it's really strong right there. And I'm even going stronger. So this is all the Q rose still. I'm using the tip of my brush, but then I'm pressing down. And I just left a little white speck there. And that was kind of an accident, but I like it. So I'm leaving it. And now I'm pressing it out again. So I'm almost painting with the heel of my brush here. I'm going to turn this around again. All right, so I'm right side up again. I don't want to get niggly here. That's when you start to make a mess. I'm going to have my cerulean blue handy, since that's going to be my cool color. And I'll mix that with a little pink. So it's kind of a lavender. I'm looking for where the light is so I can set it off with the color. Again, I'm using the tip of the brush where I want the most contrast. So it's setting off the petal in front of it. I'm letting this dry though before I go back into it. I can glaze color in there with no problem. I do want to keep a little bit of sparkle in this. So I'm not going to cover everything. And I am going over the edge of the flower because I can do negative painting then. Here I just swept some of that lavender mix right over this petal next to it. This bluish color on the petals turns up where there's dark behind the petals. I'm just using the tip of the brush to get a little bit of the pattern, little striation there. Put a little of this chartreusey color. That was the cool yellow. When I say cool, I mean lemon or Hansa yellow light with some of the sap green. And here again, I don't have to worry about being precise because the darker green will go behind this and I can define it a little better. Now I'm really getting some stronger color here. Now I'm going to just get this one, which is the main one. And I got too much water here. I'm going to stick my brush right in the paint so it's really strong right for that spot right there. And I don't want to bring the color right up to the edge necessarily. But this is dry in here, so I can go into this now, add some tone up here. And I'm trying to leave a little rim of light on the edge of this petal. I'm seeing a little salmony color in here too. I may just ignore that. It keeps it simple if you're just dealing with a pure pigment. I'm laying the color on and I'm going right over the edge of the petal into the background. And that's because I know that the green will be dark enough to cover it. So I'm not painting a bunch of leaves. I'm not painting this leaf by leaf. I'm looking for the lightest green among the leaves. I might add a touch, just a touch of this jadeite to it because I want to dull it down. I want it to be light, but I want it to be dull. So I'm going to take a little of my burnt sienna and add it to this green. Maybe more of the jadeite. So now I'm going to dilute it. And I'm going to use this synthetic, this number 14 brush I have. I think I'll start over here. So I'm going to be painting around stuff with this dilute color. As I go along, I'm going to drop some other color into it, especially where I want to set off what I'm painting around. So like up here, I want a dark, real dark to set this off. So I'm going to mix the jadeite with some of this burnt sienna. And I'm going to go right in here and see this is still wet. And there's just a little passage here. So I'm not going to worry too much about a hard edge. Maybe I'll just soften this a little. I'm going to take another synthetic brush and I'm going to take some of that burnt sienna and I'm just going to drop a little in here just to give a little variation to what's going on. So I'll leave this brush here and continue with my dilute green. think I'll leave this light up here, this particular leaf. Here again, I've just dipped the tip into that jadeite. So I'm just going to keep varying the color. I'm going to go into my ultramarine, and I'm going to add a little of that up here. So I've got a little swamp going here. I'm letting things appear like I left a little leaf here. I'm going back to my dilute color, and there's a beautiful cleft in the petal here that I couldn't wait to look at. That isn't that beautiful? And this is another leaf, so I can go right over that. I don't have to define that because I'll go back over it later and I do some negative painting. Now again, I'm going to reach for some stronger color. This is the jadeite with burnt sienna, and I'm going to put that here using the tip for where the strong color is. And this has such a beautiful point on it.
So that lighter green is a bract. Bract is a part of the flower that encapsulates it when it's closed, and sometimes they open up and become part of it, and sometimes they fold backwards.
Right, and that's why in this picture, this, would you call that the bract?
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell you, that it was an important part of the flower.
I think so. So I did have that color there. So look at me, I'm going around here because now I know how important it is. Thank you. So now I'm going to go back up here. This is a bract. Now I know what to call it. When you're doing these big areas, it's nice to take advantage of a natural barrier so you can just limit the area you're working on. So there's a leaf here, so I'm using that to stop. I've got a good bloom going in there. And I'm going to go right over this with the green. So what I'm going to do here, I want everything to breathe a little. I have to decide if I'm going to make these leaves a positive shape out here. So maybe I'll just stay in this area and then decide. So here I'm doing positive leaf shapes, and maybe I'll come down a little farther here. Just because I'm not sure if I want to fill the page. I may let the main flower flow into the one that's down here. So I'll take a little of this pink and just make it darker down here and create an edge with the lighter bract. See, I'm going to keep saying that word. Like getting a little texture here, and I'm seeing a little blue in there, so I'll reach for a little cerulean. That was fun.